what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Brothers in Tech is a weekly podcast focused on personal and home technology, helping provide you, our fellow brothers and sisters in tech, with some information, assistance, and recommendations. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Brothers in Tech. My name is Alan Jackson, as those of you watching on video can see clearly listed underneath my name or my picture. Over to my right, and I'm pointing to my left because cameras are inverted. It is Brian Jackson on the right-hand side of the screen with his name underneath him. How you doing, Brian?
Well, it's amazing how that all worked out, right? With my name underneath my picture and your name underneath yours. And it's almost like you know what you're doing with terms of technology. It's good. It's a good start.
Some days I wonder. Today was one of those days I do wonder. Brian, I don't think I want to bring it up in this episode. I think I may save it for another one. I've still got a couple tech challenges. I'm a little humiliated to say I may have to ask your opinion on to get some feedback on. Maybe at the end of the show.
I live for these days.
Let's see how this episode goes. If we have some time at the end, maybe I'll throw them out at you. Go ahead and say it right offhand. Voice is a little rough tonight. I've kind of coming off a bad cold. I may have some coughing fits. I'm going to try to mute the mic whenever I possibly can on that. Just giving everybody a heads up. I apologize in advance. But this is Brothers in Tech. Brian and I get together about every week, and we talk technology, but we talk about it from a home, personal, kind of family use of technology. We don't get into the heavy enterprise, heavy business stuff. And we don't try to do any kind of future predictions on the trends of technology. Well, I mean, maybe a little bit, but more than likely we're here to talk about technology people can use every day and they use in their lives to make their lives better. And we talk home automation technology. We talk some productivity, making things a little easier for your own life. Sometimes we just talk about some kind of dumb, fun technology that we just get a kick out of. So that's what we do every week. We normally get into like a topic that we like to dig into, but this week is one of our special episodes, Brian. It is our patented BiTs episode, the Brothers in Tech suggestions.
I pretty much just put up with you for the last 3 or 4 weeks just to get to this point. I mean, this is what I do, right? I come to work with you, Alan, and I put in my time. And this is my reward, right? The BiTs episode. This is.
I even made a banner for it. Look at that, Brothers in Tech suggestions. Just so we're very clear, big bold. Yeah, this is where Brian and we have scoured the internet, scoured our Amazon shopping list, whatever else to find technology that we want to recommend to you. Our suggestions for the episode. So Brian and I both have 2 things each. We want to kind of.
I think I'll go with 2. Yeah, I think I'll go with 2. Mm-hmm.
This is technology. It could be a website. It could be an app. It could be a gadget, hardware, whatever it may be, something technology related that we have either started using or maybe something we're just now getting familiar with and we feel like it's enough to recommend to everybody else to consider as well. So this is always fun. We kind of ping pong back and forth and see who's got a suggestion to go first and so forth. So here we go. Brian, are you ready to jump right into this? Anything you need to set up in advance? Anything you need to set up beforehand?
I do have something I need to set up, but if you have, do you have something ready, or do you want me? Okay, why don't you go ahead and start because I've got a little bit of a setup ready to go. I mean, you're prepared.
And all the prep work we did, Brian. Right? Come on, we spent hours prepping for this show earlier today, so I can't believe you're not ready yet.
Well, yeah.
Let me go ahead and hit mine. And Brian, we talk about home automation quite a bit on this show. We're both big fans of home automation. We love finding ways to automate things in our house. But I've said all along, one of the biggest factors for me that's kind of held me back from automating everything in my house is cost. Home automation's not cheap yet. Okay. There's a lot of cost involved in having home automation in your home. Between hubs you've got to buy or for certain products and the devices themselves. I mean, there's a lot of costs involved. Even upgrading a light bulb. I mean, you could be spending $15-20 on a light bulb itself. And it just makes it a little bit of a challenge to go completely all in on the home automation. So I'm always ready to recommend a company or a brand name that where I found that actually has some pretty good pricing involved. And I feel like you're getting some good value for the money you put in. It helps when it's a name that might be a recognizable name too. Brian, are you familiar with the chain of stores IKEA furniture stores?
Yes, I have heard of them, Alan. Yeah, I have absolutely been there. Yep.
You guess IKEA products. If you had to just make a rough guess,
Say it again. What do you ask?
things in your home would you say are IKEA based?
1%.
Really? So you don't have much
Yeah.
at all?
No.
I'm maybe 10%.
Oh wow.
8 to 10, somewhere in there. Enough to say yes, we do use IKEA. I enjoy my pilgrimage to IKEA once a year just to go see everything. IKEA, for those of you not familiar, is a chain of stores specializing in furniture or home decor. Kind of known for Swedish based. They have wonderful Swedish meatballs at the cafeteria. I do know.
Yeah, I was going to say 90% of my food consumption on IKEA days is Swedish meatballs. If that helps, Swedish, if that's the percentage that you're looking for. Yeah.
I basically, if you go to IKEA and you don't eat the Swedish meatballs, what are you doing with your life? Why did you even make that trip in the first place?
That's a very good point.
So I do like going to IKEA. Look, there is a kind of a joke running with IKEA that it's a lot of stuff you have to put together yourself. And sometimes they joke about how the instructions are kind of a little could be a little difficult. But they do keep cost at a relatively low price for a lot of furniture you get. So you take the good with the bad. I'm overall a fan. I don't mind IKEA furniture. I like putting it together. I think it's fun. And I've generally been pretty happy with most of the stuff I get for there. So they have actually rolled out in recent years a line of home automation devices, which a lot of people don't realize. I don't blame them because it's not something where you go to the store and it's really in your face, really clear that they do this. But they actually have an entire line of smart lighting, outlets, other devices that all work with their system. And you can set it up in your home and use it alongside your other devices. Most notably for me, a select number of their items work with HomeKit on the Apple Home side as well. So let me go ahead and pull up a screen. I'll kind of show you some of the things I'm talking about here. All right. So IKEA, they have this is where it makes it really tricky. They have their own products and they have different brand names. Some of these Swedish names they use to call this architecture of things they sell.
Oh, I want you to say them as well. I would like for you to
Trod free. There's the word right there. You see that trod free right here. I'm highlighting TRA with the little circle on the top.
It's Trude free.
Trude free?
No, I don't know. I just made that up.
Well,
No,
it sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Well, that is the name of their architecture, where if they sell devices that are in that Trugfi family, they are smart home device compatible. So, for example, you see right here a lighting kit, a little overhead light to go on top of some doors. That is a lighting kit that will work with a smart home setup. Let's see what else. Panel lights, smart lighting kits, Wi-Fi light bulbs. They have remote smart light switches and remote controls, lamps, other things all work within that environment. So what you need is you have to have the hub. They do sell a hub. It's about $40. There again, that's that name, Trudfee, their gateway, they call it. About $39. You get this. It's about this big around. Hook it up to your network, and then any of the IKEA devices you get that are Trude-free certified or under that family will now communicate with this. And I was a little leery about this when I got into it because I thought, well, okay, first off, I really want to make sure it works with HomeKit, and it does. I'll go ahead and tell you, it is a HomeKit compatible system. The prices on things that you can get are pretty good. Here's a lot of they have lighting strips. They have an overall lighting kit. Here's an LED lighting strip that works with it. Let's see. Oh yeah. I've got one of their outlets I just put in $20 for a Wi-Fi controlled outlet. Not that one because that's the different outlet model, but one like it. This is my favorite. This is the item I just got too, and it's right here. It's another one of those push buttons. I found, I'd shown a push button by the Aquara group a while back. This one is a $15 shortcut button, and it works the same way. You can program a single, double, or long press on it to do any kind of action you want to have in your smart home environment. So I started using these here at my home. I moved the Aquara system to my office and using it there. But I'll tell you, I was actually really shocked and surprised at how easily it integrated for me with HomeKit. You have to get the IKEA Home app, smart home app. That's where you register the gateway once you plug it up to your network. And then you add devices through that IKEA smart app. But as soon as you do, you can tell it, I want to connect to HomeKit, and it gives you a code to automatically enter into HomeKit that automatically links it to the gateway. And once you've done that, every item you add in that IKEA network shows up in your home environment right away. I'm sure the same way would happen on the Google and on the Amazon side as well. So I'm actually pretty surprised. I mean, the $15 shortcut buttons, some of the light bulbs you can get are, I've seen some for like $10, which, for smart light bulbs is pretty good. Let's see if I can find some of the others. I had some others on here. Yeah, here they're light bulbs. There's a $20 bulb. There's a $15 bulb. There's a cool like clear light bulb, which I don't see many of those that are smart ones anymore. That's $19.
Like an Edison style something.
Yeah. So some pretty nice stuff that all fits into it. But you do have, I will say, IKEA, especially their website, it's maddening trying to find out which things will actually work with the gateway you get. So you do have to look for that brand name and make sure it's going to work with it. But once it does, it's a good setup. Yeah, I've been really happy with the IKEA devices I've gotten. I've got a smart outlet, got the smart button, and then I also got a smart bulb. This is one of the only places I've ever seen that actually, let me hide the screen here, that actually sells a Wi-Fi bulb that has the little small base at the bottom.
Candelabra type bulb. Yeah.
That's always been a little bit of a challenge. You can get some adapters to try to work, but they're not always as reliable. And I don't know if I want to use them with a Wi-Fi bulb.
Right.
But this one has the smart candelabra type mount on the bottom. So going to be putting that in as well to see how that works. But overall, pretty happy with the IKEA brand of smart home devices so far. I'm about 3 weeks in on using them, so I definitely will report back if I run into some problems.
Yeah,
I did not have to build anything, which was kind of nice.
That's
to follow instructions and build a light bulb. It just came automatically ready to go. So that's nice.
Yeah. So you didn't have the usual frustration of an IKEA situation. That's good.
I'll tell you what, though. I've never minded IKEA building. I don't know. I kind of enjoy it in a sick way. So it's all right.
So anyway, have you noticed any distance issues? Like where's your hub or your gateway?
So the hub, the little gateway it's plugged into my network. So it's an Ethernet connection into your network. Okay. So then location isn't quite as critical at that point.
Okay.
But I do have it kind of in the same room where I am right now, running all the devices I'm using. I haven't tried extending it any further to see how it does. But my understanding is once you've got it on the Ethernet network, you've got a little better, with everything tied into that same Wi-Fi network, it communicates with everything else on your Wi-Fi network fine.
Okay. Yeah.
It's when you have a route. It's when you hub.
Going out. Yeah.
When you have a hub that's not Ethernet connected to your network, that's when you really have to make sure there's good distance between it.
That's cool. Yeah, I think I had seen that IKEA had smart features, but did not even think about them being worthwhile. The button intrigues me because
I love it.
I am looking for that. I looked at the buttons you had brought earlier. What was the brand name you had talked about before?
That Aquara.
Aquara, that's right.
Yeah.
And they're good. A little more expensive. Aquara is a little more expensive with the hub and the other. Yeah.
Yeah. This is $15. Comes with a really nice magnet mount that you can screw this on the wall. That way you can just magnet it to the wall and not have to permanently affix it. So if you need to take it, it does have a little removable battery. It's not chargeable. It's a watch type battery that runs the button.
Yep.
but super easy. I've got it, set up with my lights here in this room.
Nice.
Very easy. Everything works pretty nice. And very happy with it. I mean, I'll probably use this just for this push button system, because I think this has been the best solution I've found for that single one touch button I needed in certain rooms.
Nice.
Yeah, who would have thought IKEA kind of has a decent option for some home automation devices?
Nice.
So, yeah.
Nice. Well, that's a good start.
Good. All right. So that is my first recommendation. Brian, I am passing the baton to you.
Thank you.
Beat that one.
No, that was good, Alan. So let me set the stage by telling you one of the frustrations I have had especially in the last, I'd say maybe 6 months, is I am incredibly frustrated and don't seem to have a very good solution for a news reader. Okay. Mm-hmm. By news reader, I mean a news compiler to where I pull up an app and I'm able to read the news that is curated for me. Now I say that I've been a fan in the past of Flipboard. I think Flipboard was one of my picks a couple of years ago, Alan, when we talked about this. I loved the visual look of Flipboard. Flipboard works great on an iPad or a tablet where you're kind of treating it like a magazine. But I tell you, it has become maddening to use Flipboard lately because there are so many ads that pop up, take over a full screen. One of the big frustrations I had with Flipboard is just navigating used to be pretty easy. Now there's a back arrow in the top left and you can't just swipe anymore, all that sort of stuff. So it got to be frustrating. And then I went to Smart News, which was another app that I enjoyed. It had probably twice as many ads and some really bad glitches that had come about with the app recently. I think I had also recommended Google News at one point, which I think Google News is probably still the best go-to for me in terms of not getting bombarded with as many ads. But the look of it is not nearly as clean. It's just, I haven't enjoyed it as much. So I'm going to bring up a new one today, which I'm going to admit that I've only had maybe about a week with, and we'll see, Alan, if you have had any experience with this. Let me share the screen.
Oh, the anticipation is building.
There you go.
What is it, Brian? What is it?
Okay.
Oh, it's this one. Okay, here we go. Feedly. Yeah.
So Feedly. Yeah. So Alan, I don't know if you've used Feedly before,
I have.
But I just started using it for about a week now, and I am not paying for it. So this is the free version of Feedly. But I'll tell you what I really like about it. So this is the web version that you're looking at right now for those that are on video. And what I do like about Feedly is, just like most of them, when you first get into a newsreader, it'll usually ask, well, what are you interested in? Like, click on all these things that you're interested in, and it's going to just try to curate your news based on those things. And this did the same thing. It was a little bit weird the way it started out. It needed folders where you say, well, I'm interested in technology. Okay. Give me a folder. Well, I'll call the folder technology. And then it asks for you to go point to sources that you want. So, for example, you can see over here on the left, actually, I'll scroll down here with tech, you'll see that I just added some sources, 9to5Mac, Engadget, Mac Rumors. Each of those are sources. So I told that source I wanted it to go in my tech folder. And then I did a politics folder, and then I did a finance folder, and started throwing different things in there. Once I got used to doing the addition piece, I liked it because it did allow me to tell it, these are places I trust. These are places I want information from. And interestingly, after I started looking through the information, I think one of them, Alan, was Motley Fool, right? You probably have seen some things with Motley Fool. Well, Motley Fool, I'd forgotten the reason I didn't want things from them is they're just trying to sell you their membership to Motley Fool, right? They're always telling you, hey, do you want to know about the best 10 stocks? Come and pay us. So I was easily able to go in and just say, nope, remove them from my list. I don't want to see from them anymore. And we can continue to add. But what I think, and I haven't gotten into this too deeply yet, but what I think Feedly really kind of hangs its hat on is for you to be able to, almost like you're doing a journal database search where you can say, I want to look up research on this and this, or where this ties into this. So it actually allows you, and I believe this is a paid version, which is the unfortunate part, but it allows you to start to go and curate things by saying, okay, I'm interested in finance, but I'm only interested in finance articles that are related to this, or this is related to this. So you can really start to kind of curate the information that you want, not just, hey, I'm interested in, entertainment. Well, that's pretty broad, but I'm interested in entertainment only with movies and only with, this type of information, right? So you can really start to kind of dial in. It does allow you, I'll show you for those that are watching, that you can kind of change the way that you see it. You could actually have it almost like an email, inbox where you're saying, okay, I want to read this one. And you'll see that it gives you a very quick intro to the article. Right. It's like, here's the abstract of the article. And if you want to read more, you just click on the website and go to it. If you want to save it for later, save it to a board or read it later, you can do that. You can also, this is something that unfortunately is a paid version. You could save it to one of your readers, like Alan, I think Pocket, Evernote. You can connect those to where you can say, just send it to that and I'll read it later. But I think the visuals of this are really, really nice. It's really kind of a beautifully put together app. So here's the kind of more card version, and here's the article view where you can actually scroll article by article. And it's also nice is that if you read one, so if I were to click on this first one, let me go back to a different view. If I were to click on this first one, right, and then go back. Right now, it's going to gray it out, so it shows you I've read it. Right. It also on the app, and let me actually, Alan, I'm going to switch over to the app.
Sure. And while you're doing that, just to kind of remind everybody, when we talk about these news readers, it is pulling articles from different news sources. It's not generating any news on its own as an app. It is truly, you're designating what sources you want to be receiving things from. And it is pulling new articles from those blogs, those news sources all the time. So for example, if you say, I like to follow National Geographic, and that is one of my news sources. Well, the minute National Geographic puts up a new news story on their website, this service will pull that article in and put it into mixed in with all of your other articles. So you can pick and choose which ones you want to read, but it's curating all that into one place for you. So that's kind of the idea of these news readers.
Yep. And Alan, what did it used to be called? What was the RSS? RSS.
Yeah,
readers,
RSS.
Right?
Readers. I mean, technically, it still is. That's the underlying technology behind is RSS technology on these blogs. Any blog you visit works on the same way, and you can actually subscribe to individual blogs through these news readers. If you know the address of where their news items are.
Yep.
You can subscribe to them. Like if Joe down the street has a blog and he's putting up articles all the time, as long as you know the address of his news feed, which a lot of times sites will give you that, so you can actually subscribe to them, you can feed it into your news reader and get Joe's articles piped in right alongside National Geographic and everybody else you subscribe to, which is kind of nice. So
yeah. So I'm showing now for those on video, I'm showing you the phone app, like the mobile app. Okay, this is the mobile app version of Feedly. You can see that it's coming up very similar to what it was on the web view. I can click the side tab and it's showing you the exact same things that were on the web. So all of my reader sources. I can click on an article, and then once I decide, yep, I've already read that, sorry, slide it away, then it becomes grayed out. And interestingly, and I don't know what the purpose of this is, Alan, but up in the top left over here, you'll see that number 14. If I click on that 14, you'll see that it's saying you've been in here for 1 minute, you've reviewed 3 things, and you've read 1, right? So it's kind of giving you like a status update of like how much have you been reading today? And it kind of gives you, an update on how much time you're spending in the app, what you're doing in it,
That's
how much
nice. Yeah.
called. If I scroll through and let's say that all I want to do is look at headlines, and maybe I go, you know what, none of these headlines are of interest. Sorry, I'll go back up. And I think if I go to this explore, I can see things where it starts to put things that are trending within this area. But, if I go down to the bottom and then I say, you know what, go ahead and mark all of these as read, it just swipes them away and says, okay, you've read all those and we'll give you the more up-to-date ones. All of this really, Alan, is that I got so frustrated with Twitter going through its nightmare that it's been doing. And Twitter was my news. I didn't use Twitter for following that many people. I used it for following news sources. And that was my way of seeing kind of what was up to date. And I can go and take a look at that. So I wanted a Twitter-like news reader that had a really slick approach. As you can see, if I click on something, it's got a really nice expand view of what's going on there.
Sure.
It does it quickly. It does it in an easy reader. It allows me to change the font on all the things that I'm reading. And I don't have to visit the website, which, as you know, most of these, if you click, go straight to the website, takes a minute to load. You're going to start getting their some of the videos and things that they've got going, the advertisements. Yeah. This allows me to look at an abstract. Do I really want to go any further? If not, slide it off and go back. So far it's good. Now, if you wanted to pay, which at this point, there's a lot of things it has that I really wish I could do. I believe it's about $7 a month, which I think is kind of expensive for a newsreader. I'd say, $2 or $3 a month would have been perfect. But $7 a month, I think, is a bit much. So I'm going to keep using it as the free version, see if there are things that I really love about it that I want to continue to look for more uses. But, for people that are really looking for what I think is a beautifully put together news reader, a news compiler, that it has some other really cool features. If you're interested in the paid version, I think this would be something to check out. So Feedly.
Very cool. No, I like it. I used Feedly a while back. I'm using News Explorer now only because it's already included in my SetApp subscription, and it's just
your SetApp. Yep.
And I wanted both one on mobile and desktop, and I didn't want to pay for anything. Feedly's great there. I was using Feedly before I saw this one in the subscription software I have. So I think we're good.
The only thing I wish it did, and here's maybe a suggestion for Feedly, is that when you click and you go to the abstract version, I do wish that if I knew by reading the art or the title that it was one I wanted to go straight to the website, I didn't want to do 2 clicks. I wish there was a way, almost like hard press or, press and hold, and then all of a sudden you go straight to the website. If there was a function like
actually
that,
a pretty good idea.
Really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
All right. So there you go, Alan.
Nice.
There's right back to you. Let's ping pong back to you and see if you can take a step up on this one.
All right. So Feedly from Brian. All right. We're going to bring that down. I don't know if you can tell my voice is slowly degrading as this conversation goes on. So it's good. I've got one less pick to give, and then I'm tapping out. So I'm almost done. Boy, yeah, it's gotten rough like just in the last few minutes. All right. So Brian, this one, even though I said at the top of the show that we focus on home and personal technology, and we try to stay away from the heavy business or enterprise work, this one traipses into that area a little bit. You obviously could use this for a office or work environment. I do currently. My team I work with, my coworkers and I use this tool. Have been for like the last couple months and really enjoying it and getting a lot of good use out of it. But I'm bringing it up on Brothers in Tech because I actually feel like there's a lot of opportunities to use it for even some non-traditional business purposes. And the version I'm going to show you is also free. So there's really very little harm in even trying to use it. I'm imagining if you're part of a group or a club, or you have a project you're putting on in the for any reason, whether it's an online project or in person, doesn't matter. You need something to help organize everything about this project together. So what I want to talk about is the software service is called Asana. Some people I am learning over the last couple of months are already pretty familiar with it. Actually, a lot of people I did not realize would be familiar with it. One of our co-hosts on another show I helped produce, as soon as he heard we were on Asana, he's like, "Oh, hook me up, add me to your guys' project. I want to be on. I'm on Asana with all my stuff." And so you're starting to learn, just like, kind of like Slack was for a while. It's like, oh, wow, there's actually people using this and they want to kind of get connected with each other's projects, which is kind of funny. But Asana is a project management application. It is meant where if you have a project you're working on, it can be an ongoing project or it could be a one-time project that you're wanting to share details and information with other people, and you want to do it in a kind of a consolidated way. There's tons of tools like this out there. The reason I'm bringing up Asana is that it is starting to get a little bit more of that popular mindset where people are talking about Asana more and more, that I listen for it.
Yeah.
And also the fact that there is a free model that actually, a free version of it that actually works really remarkably well. That's the reason I'm going to recommend it. It's a web app as well as a app on your Mac or Windows PC. You can download a standalone app to work with it. You got a mobile app for it for your mobile devices, or use it on the website, whichever you prefer. And what Asana does is it lets you set up your projects. So let's say you're planning a reunion, class reunion. Set that up as a project, and you can start to put in tasks on things that need to be done to make this reunion work. You can then invite other people to be a part of this project and assign them as the person responsible for certain tasks, or they can hop in and then assign you or anybody else as somebody responsible for a task. You put in due dates, you put in some details about the task items, and then every time you come into Asana, it will now show you your personal list of everything that you've got waiting for you to do and when it was due and when you need to get it worked on. So you've got that kind of look going on. Then you can also share notes with one another and messages and files on that project. So if I wanted to put up a big message about the reunion, say, okay, well, here's the logo we designed for our reunion, and here's some of the here's the messaging that we're going to send out, and I want to put that as a message for everybody in the team to see, I can go in and create that message, and then everybody can get notified by email or whatever preferences they had in place about this new message, or if they got assigned a new task to work on. The screenshots I'm showing right now on their website can look a little daunting because there's a lot they're showing. At the simplest level, though, it actually, once you get into it, it's a pretty easy tool to use. Now, the free version is limited. There's a lot of these things I'm scanning through their website that you do not get with the free version. Some of these project boards you don't get like in a nice graphical view. I think there's some different charts and reports you can get that are not available with the free version. But I'll tell you right there, I've got a team of 7 or 8 of us using Asana for all of our client work, all of our in-house client project work we're doing. We're using this every day. And so far, we're still on the free version, and it's giving us everything we need. We have not found a reason to pay for it yet. Now, they can let you go create like automated actions that will happen. Like if you put in a task, it's going to trigger these other things to happen with these other apps. All that you can get with the paid version. Again, we just have not gotten to that level with it. All of our work so far has been on the free version. We've been very happy. So in fact, let me probably shouldn't do this because it's only going to remind me of all the things I still have not done yet, but I am going to share a quick view into what Asana looks like if you were copying in and you know, taking a look at your day. So this is me logging into my Asana app. I can see right down here below the different people in my team. I can see my priorities listed of when I need to do these things. I can see projects I'm working on. I can go into any of these projects and take a look at like my to-do list. I see who's responsible for it, which is me on a lot of these. And I can see other people that may be responsible for other items and when they're due. I've got all my projects listed across the side. I mean, just a lot of different ways I can see the things I'm working on. So if I want to go in and create a new task and say, I need to edit Brothers in Tech episode, and I want to assign that to myself and give it a due date of tomorrow. It is now on my list, and if I were to go to view tomorrow morning, go look in my task list, it would be up there saying, hey, this is something you're supposed to do today. But I can also go in and give a lot of details and say, well, let me add some notes about that. Let me type in some reminders. Let me type in some helpful things to remember as I'm working on this. Go and edit all of that as I need to. I could go in and see messages and create a message about this project that everybody on that project would then get a copy of. I can go in and put files in. If I had a file, I would attach it to one of those messages. All the files for that project would then show up here on this panel. And then I can see a calendar view of like all the tasks I've got with the due dates and kind of plot it out along a calendar line. To me, this has been a really great tool. Would I pay for it on a monthly basis if I had to? We're not quite to that point yet, but I'm happy to know that I'm 2 months in and I have not found a need to get to that paid version yet. I can do everything I need to do on the free version so far.
Right. Yeah, that's nice.
Now, things like, where is it? Workflow. It says, okay, yeah, if you want to automate some things on your workflow, that is an upgrade. So I'd have to actually get a paid license to do that, for example. The dashboard, you can create some really cool dashboards, but that's with the paid version as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it teases you with those things along the top and kind of entices you to want to like look at upgrading. But the fact of the matter is you can do everything you need to do for the most part with most projects with the free version, and signing up's easy. Inviting other people to be a part of your team is very easy. Brian, we added you to some projects you're working with me on here as well. So you've had some experience with it as well. Is that kind of your takeaway too? Or?
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty slick. I like some of the customization. I like the fact that you can send messages to someone based on a project or directly to that person one-on-one. So that's one part that I think gets a little bit takes getting used to. You know, your inbox is, you know, is it messages that are going to everybody, or is it messages, you know, to directly to a person? But I like it. I mean, I think it's great if you can use this instead of having to send tons of emails back and forth, and then also be able to build in those task priorities. No, I think it's great. I think it's really slick. Yeah.
Well, the big thing for us is we had been using Slack as our kind of inner office communication tool. And that was like sending messages to one another, asking questions, sending files to one another. But what we realized is that we were using that for just that element. Then we were having to try to keep track of our projects somewhere else. And it was multiple apps we were having to keep up with.
Yeah.
We made the decision to move away from Slack, and we're using this solely as our project related communications. And it's worked out pretty well. You're right. It is a little trickier to kind of learn where everything is. Messages are sometimes buried deeper in the levels of to view. And I don't always like the way it's presented that way, but once you get the hang of it and you know where to look, it works out pretty good. One of our listeners, Shane, is asking, can it produce I'm thinking maybe a Gantt chart question. No, a lot of the charting and reports you do have to pay for if you wanted a higher level charting or reports on or any kind of dashboards. Those typically come with the paid versions. With the free version, you're not getting a lot of reporting. It's really just what they present for you on your overview or your own view when you log in. Also, it's saying very similar to Jira, which is true, but this is free. It's just, again, you got to understand with the free version, it is a limited, more stripped down. But again, for most people's project management needs, I think, especially on a more casual basis, I mean, if you, like I gave the example of a reunion, or if you're doing something as a community group or any kind of just project where there are due dates, there are tasks, there are files to be shared, there are messages to communicate, but text messaging is not enough. You need something more of a platform. I think for free, Asana is great. And, you use it as you need it. When you're done with it, you can shut it off or not use it again. Yeah. And you're not losing anything. So,
no, I think it's super slick. Yeah. And, most importantly, I think the tasks being able to do repetitive tasks and say, every week on Thursday, I want to do the show notes for this and have that keep popping up, and then being able to be within the same app and communicate about that task. I think that's the real key, right? Is rather than having to bounce between multiple tasks and then worry about the communication, this is all communication based on tasks in projects, which
Yeah.
I think is super slick. Yeah.
My favorite feature of it, which I mean, I know a lot of project management apps will do this, but I really have struggled to find one in a free or inexpensive model, is if I create an item and I want it to happen on a certain frequency, like this is something editing, I'm going to edit every week. So I can actually go in and say that this is going to be a repetitive thing. If I choose the date, there's a little repeat option here and say, yep, I want it to be every week on Thursday. So what's great about it is then if I click on this one and say that I've done it, let's say if I've done the one that's due for tomorrow, it automatically creates a new one after a few seconds, or should anyway. Yep. There it is. Creates a new one that's now due next Thursday, the 26th, without me having to go in and remind myself to duplicate or create a new one. It seems like a simple thing, but you'd be surprised. I've ran through 2 other platforms that don't do that automatically for you. I just wanted one where the minute I check that, yes, I've done it for this week, I want that same task to automatically populate the same time next week, and it does it right away. So it's actually really nice. So
really nice. Yep. Very cool.
All right. So that is Asana for me, asana.com. Again, it's free. It's a fun model to play with. Does have web as well as mobile and desktop apps to use. So it's worth a shot, especially for some smaller end projects. Definitely on a more personal level. I think it's great for more family or community projects you're working on. So
very cool. Very cool.
All right, Brian.
So
you got to bring us home. You got your last one to share with us?
I tell you what, I had one planned and then just made a quick change, and I'm going to go to a different one. Okay. Mainly because, and I'll maybe tease something that would happen in the future. I was able to finally get a monitor arm for the new monitor that I talked about before, and I had planned to show that. And for some reason, my phone camera lately has been super weirded out to where I wanted to show it, and it's not allowing me to work. I have my external webcam, but it is now woven into my monitor arm, so I can't pull it away. So I'm actually going to hold off on that, but I will bring that up at another time because I'm really happy with it. But I'm going to show you something else, Alan, that you will be amazed, or I don't think you'll have any. I don't think you'll be able to guess what company this product is from.
Okay. All right. What
do you think? Yeah. What do you think? What company would I bring?
You want me to guess right now what company you could be recommending something from?
Yes.
Is it from Microsoft?
No, my God, why in the world?
Oh, now see, I thought you were going ironic. I thought you were going the other end. Oh no, you want me to guess your typical company that you always recommend things from?
Yes.
The one that I would swear you probably either have stock in, or maybe your best friend would like the owner or something.
I wish I was. No, yeah. Nope.
So that's gonna be Wise. WYZE. Wise.
Correct. Right. Yes. So let's bring up. Let's bring up my latest purchase from Wise. And so for those that have not listened before, Wise is one of my favorite companies for a number of reasons, but they are inexpensive home automation, home security, lots of different random products. They're always trying new products. And so for me, someone who likes to try new things, it's an easy entry point to be able to work with or to kind of look at products from a company rather than having to spend a ton of money. So Wise has come out with a number of new cameras lately. And so I currently have a number of their outdoor cameras, which are wireless, just mount them on the wall, and I've got them pointed in different directions. They're rechargeable. They'll last, I think, Alan, you remember when I brought those up initially, they last about 3 months on a charge. And then you recharge them and get another 3 months, and they just let me know when movement is happening, which has been really, really helpful. The very first camera I had from Wise was a Wise Cam Pan, and that one it looked like a little tower that kind of sits on a shelf, and it can spin and kind of look different directions, but then also in the middle it will pan up and down, so I can pull that camera up and be able to look and see, but then also swipe around and say, now turn this way and let me see over here close to the door, or turn this direction. The problem was I've had that for many, many years. And that one actually has kind of started to lose some of its quality on the camera itself. So when I pull it up, if there's a light close by, it tends to kind of get grayed out a little bit. So I knew it was time to upgrade that one. And just, I think about a week and a half ago, Wise came out with a new version of that, which is called the Wise Cam Pan version 3. And I'm pretty happy with it. I'm going to show you maybe some of the cool things about it here in a second, and I'll pull up the video. But as you can see, the really nice part about this one is this one also can be used outdoors, whereas my other one was not. So I had it in my living room. I currently have this one in the living room because I want to test it a while before I actually put it outdoors. But the nice part is it being weather resistant. So it still is, it's wired. It's not wireless. So that would mean that if I put it outdoors, I'm going to actually have power there. But the whole power system is kind of set to be weather resistant, which is really nice. The other thing is that given that it's the pan, you can set it up to not only see movement, but also follow movement. So if something started to, an animal in my backyard, if I mounted it on my back porch, comes into the screen, instead of me just having to look at the short video clip of it walking by the camera, I could get it to where it would actually at night pan and follow, so that I get better video of that. As you can see here on the screen, automatically tracking motion, which is really nice. Just like the others, it does have two-way audio. So if it was outdoors and someone was outside walking around your house and it was following, you could pull up your app and talk to that person and say, go away, just like most security cameras can do these days. So it's pretty slick. The other thing that I thought was really neat about it, just if you see the design here, Alan, the way that it has two boxes, right? It's one camera up on an arm above another box. Is if you click on the app or tell it to go in privacy mode, it does right down here. You see what it does? It turns downwards. Right?
Yeah, that's funny.
Turns the camera downwards. So you can be confident, even though you think you've got it turned off, the old Wise Cam Pan was still facing you. So you were like, oh, if I walk by naked right now, is it possible this video is going to somewhere else?
Sure.
Privacy mode, you get it turned straight down, so it's got no chance of recording anything at that point. So pretty slick. It was $33, $34. You'll see, I think it says it's already sold out. They sold out right away when they came out. So, but it's only been out about a week and a half, so it will be back in stock pretty soon.
Sounds like it seems like it's going to be back. It says it's going to be back on stock on in like 4 days from this.
Oh yeah, there you go.
That's the case.
And one of the nice part about Wise is they have connected with Amazon, so you can buy here, but you can buy for the exact same price on Amazon as they have on the button there, which I did, which means I got it 2 days later, as opposed to dealing with their shipping issues. So what I thought I'd do, Alan, let me just show you really quickly here what the camera looks like and through the app, because I don't think I've done this before, but let me just show you what the Wise app looks like. Okay. So Alan, I just quickly logged into my Wise app, and you'll see that I can scroll here and see all the devices I have through Wise. I have, a couple of cameras followed by some headphones, which I'll review in another day. I have a doorbell that has a video, a few more cameras, outdoors, indoors. I have string lights, like an outlet, outdoor outlet, which is great. And some other things. But this top one, so I'll just show you real quick. This is the view from my Wise Cam Pan. And you'll see that the image is really good, right? Yeah. It's nice and clear. I'm just going to click on the screen and kind of move to one direction. And you'll see that I can pan, over and look at a different part. I'm not going to pan too far because I think my wife is in this room, so I don't want to freak her out. Right. But I'm also going to really quickly, I'll shift back. This is the view. Oh, and the also nice part, and this I think is the case for most of these cameras like this, but you can also pinch and zoom, right? So I can pinch in and say, let me pinch in and see what my dog is doing, right? And be able to take a look. You can put an SD card in it. So if you have the SD card in it, it can record locally. So right now I have it set up. So the free version, again, I think I told you, I don't pay for Wise. I don't pay for their recurring, security things. So it notifies me, it records 12 seconds and that's it. It records to the cloud for 12 seconds, and that's it. So if someone were to walk around my house in the same area, I would have to then get into the app, open the app, and make sure I pull up the video, and then I can watch them. But for the most part, this has been really slick. You'll see there I have privacy mode. I just click on privacy mode, and I think I just clicked on it. Sorry, I wasn't looking. Yeah, so now it says you're in privacy mode, which means that camera pointed down, and there's no chance for me to use it. I can click that off and have it turn back on again. So it also, has a really nice night mode, night view. So if the lights were off in there, I'd still be able to see fairly well because it uses a night view on that. So actually, I'll show you really quickly. This is just looking out this is an old view here, but this is looking out my back deck. So just a quick notice for people: anytime you have a camera with night mode, don't do what I just did right here, which is you can see my camera is actually pointed at a little arm here, which is close to the camera. And when it does that, it's focusing on what's close and doesn't allow you to focus further away. So that's bad placement of that camera. Whereas if I were to click back to another camera, I have one down at my bar. So it'll sync up real quick here. So you can see it has a decent night mode. And that's for all of the Wyze cameras. So anyway, I think I'm going to stop that screen share. Pretty happy with it so far. I'm excited to actually put it in outside, because where I showed you a minute ago when I had bad camera placement, that's where I want to put it so that I can actually scan the entire width of my backyard rather than having multiple cameras across in different areas. So pretty slick. So, $34,
okay,
not a bad deal.
So I was listening to you while you were doing this description.
Oh, sure you were.
I'll be honest. I was searching because I wanted to find out, first off, is this new camera HomeKit compatible? And the answer is no.
Yeah.
Then my second answer, research point while you were talking, was because I am running Homebridge, which we've talked about in my house. I'm now looking to see if there's a set of plugins that will work with Wyze smart home devices.
Yep.
And the answer is yes, although I have not tried them out yet. So
yes, I will tell you, yes, it works for Homebridge, but has not worked for the cameras in the past. However, the whole goal when I read this probably 3 or 4 months ago when we talked about Homebridge was that their new cameras would start to be Homebridge compatible. And what's I can't remember what the technology is, Alan. There's some sort of technology that cameras need that would allow for live streaming.
It's like the secure video.
I can't remember what it's called, some SSV or something like that. But the old cameras would not do that. I'm hopeful that this new one does. I will also tell you just this week, you'll see at the very top of actually I don't have it sharing anymore, but at the top of the Wyze website, it says they have the brand new cameras that they're just now putting out. They're called OG cameras, and it allows you to be stacked and have kind of two cameras on top of each other, one going each direction. Allows them to have telephoto, which is actually pretty cool. This is the first one I've seen that has a telephoto capability, where if it detects motion in, say, your driveway and the person starts running away, then it's going to be able to zoom in and follow them closely and get more detail.
Nice. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there's some cool things that they're trying to do, but that is a really good point. I'm not HomeKit, but I do want to figure out if their new cameras are using that technology that can go with Homebridge. At least.
And of course, as we talked about a few weeks ago, I am hoping that these newer devices will be compatible with the Matter protocol, which means they can start to open up and use, and maybe through a firmware update, or if they've already got the technology built in, they'll start working with things. So I'm still waiting to kind of see when that might happen. But it is tough because Wyze, I love a lot of the products I see up there, and some of their items do work with HomeKit. I've got a couple that do work, but most of them do not. And that's the cameras definitely do not. So so that's kind of, I'm hoping at some point that'll be an option. We'll see.
So far, like I said, I got into the system pretty early, and I've been pretty happy with it, especially for the cost. I would say my guess is I probably have $200 into cameras, maybe $250 total into cameras. And we have every bit of security needs that I think we would want for where we are, which is great for that. And I don't spend anything per month with them. Are their cameras the greatest? Not necessarily. Is their app the greatest? Not necessarily. Now, they did say they're launching a new app, which is going to make it quicker to pull up video and all of that. But it just allows me to do some things without having to break the bank to be able to get some of that accomplished. So,
cool.
So it's good.
Well, Brian, I'm going to real quick, since I think we're actually running pretty good on time. We're actually.
I knew we couldn't get out in an hour. I knew you were going to add something. You had to.
This will be really quick. Okay. You mentioned that you were going to show off your mic arm, and you failed. Oh, yeah. You did not do that. So let me just real quick.
Monitor arm, not mic arm. I haven't done the mic arm yet. Monitor arm. No, monitor arm. That's all right. If you got your mic arm, please let me see it.
I do have a mic arm that I'm going to show. Here we go.
Perfect.
So let me turn that on. Okay. So I'm showing you now. This is my new mic arm. It is, as you can see, located in the back corner of my desk. It is from, what was the name? Elgato.
Oh,
it is their wave mic. So it basically is a low profile mic in that when it goes up against a flat surface, it's like that.
Oh, perfect.
It's horrible with the light. My apologies. But the thing is, when it swivels out, it keeps a low profile. So it's not one of these where it's having to come down from a high arc, which is what my problem was. Because as you can see, I am limited on my desk space here. Any of the mic arms I've tried to use, I don't have enough room here to hold them. So with this is a low profile, meaning I can fold it back up against the wall, but then when I'm ready to use it, I bring it right here.
Nice.
And it's perfect for that.
Okay.
So this works out
lift? Does it lift as well? Or does it stay low like that?
There's a hinge right here that can actually go and loosen, and it allows the arm.
Perfect. Yep.
So this first part is flat. That part stays flat.
Okay.
This next part angles up. But it's meant to be for a mic where you want the mic to be coming up from underneath as opposed to down from the top.
Right.
So now granted, I could have it up like this and turn this mic around and have it pointing down like that.
Yep.
If I wanted to.
There you go.
But it's really best used for this kind of environment where I just want the mic to be right here in the bottom, right underneath my mouth. But I just don't have the desk space, as you can see from the camera,
to go up. Yeah.
To go up anywhere. So this is perfect. I can actually just take it and just fold it right back up against my wall when I'm not using it. So I realize that's the mic I'm talking into, so I probably don't need to keep it too far away. But then I just swing it in here whenever I'm done and ready to use it again. So anyway.
Oh man, I like
that.
That
is my new mic arm. These are in high demand. It took a really long time to find one that was available anywhere. So and they're not the cheapest thing in the world. I know you can get some really cheap ones on Amazon, some cheap mic arms, but unfortunately, none of them are this low profile model, which is what I really needed. So anyway, I'm liking it. I think it's working out pretty good for me.
I do like the look of it too. I like that it's not the open spring scissor types that seem like they just, I don't know.
Well, and it's got a cool way for, these are just magnets.
Oh, cable management. Yeah.
So you put the cables in there and then you just snap that little magnet back on top of it and it just looks really nice and clean. So yeah. So very happy with it. It's been a good thing for me. So far.
And obviously it has the clamp there, but I assume it can also do a 5/8, 5/8 screw mount or something.
Oh yeah,
right.
It can. Okay. It's got all the adapters. You can kind of screw in on the end here and get whatever you need.
And what's ballpark? What's the cost?
I got mine for 70.
No, 70. Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's still more pricey than I wanted to spend on a mic arm, but
yeah, that looks really nice though.
But I mean, again, I'm limited. I didn't really have much of a choice. And I did not want to have just a big mic sitting on a tripod on a desk stand. I had to keep moving in and out. I wanted to have it out of the way when I'm not recording, but I needed it to come in and just not be distracting in the screen. I want it to be just right here at the bottom of my mouth, and it's perfect for that. So
that's cool. Yeah. Well, I'm still in in search for one, and mine's a little different. I mean, I love what you have with the low profile and staying low like that, which I can probably do because I have a monitor on an arm now, so I can go under the monitor. But I also always have my laptop up, and so when my laptop is where that is, that's going to be in the way. So I feel like I want something that looks like yours, but I want something that goes up vertical, right? So that I can go over my computer and then put it back. So I think, what is it? Yeti makes one that's probably about the same price, probably about $70. I've been looking to try to find a used one somewhere, but that one goes up, and I think I might try to find one of those, but I am a big fan of I'm loving getting real estate back on my desk to get away the monitor. So again, I'll show you the monitor stand next time, or one of our next episodes.
Next time we will see Brian's monitor stand.
Yeah,
stay tuned for that.
I know
people are setting their reminders on their apps to make sure they get notified next time. To see that.
Yes. Yep. Stay tuned, people.
So in summary, it looks like we had a home automation line of devices from IKEA.
Yep.
We had Brian with Feedly for a newsreader service he's been using. We had me talking about Asana as an online project management tool for free. And then you sharing, shocker, another Wise product, this time a new camera with some cool panning capabilities. I'm just jealous about that camera. I really like the little style of the two boxes, and I saw how people had decorated the bottom half with like a outfit that looks like a guy's head sitting on top of a body. So it's just a shame I can't really use it without having to manage another app to do it. I mean, again, don't get me wrong. Whenever I talk about this, if anybody's unclear, I can buy the Wise camera and I can install it in my home and use it. I would just have to use the Wise app to control it or do anything with it.
Which is no good. You don't want multiple apps controlling.
No, the whole goal is to have it on one app, your home app, where everything's controlled, whether it's Google, Amazon, or Apple. And Wise, just like most manufacturers, is still just solely in the Google and Amazon camp. So,
well, and let me just clarify that the Wise cameras actually don't work with my Amazon either. Right. So what it is they don't have the protocol to do streaming. So what you need cameras that can do real-time streaming.
Support the real-time streaming. Yeah.
Real-time to other. Now, as you saw, I can real-time stream through their app, right? Which is what we do. So the app itself is what provides me all my notifications. Like, hey, someone's at your doorbell. Hey, someone is moving in your backyard. Hey, someone is doing this. What I would love would be to even take my Amazon show that I have in my in the kitchen that has the screen on it, and I'd love it to be able to show me the movement that's happening. To go, hey, by the way, there's movement. Let's show it to you. It doesn't do that yet. I can control them, which is kind of nice. I can say, Alexa, turn on the upper string lights, which are all in a Wise switch. So the switches. The light bulbs, they can all work through Amazon, obviously not through HomeKit right now. The cameras are still kind of the weird ones. So I use the app for the cameras. So if you were interested in just the app or just the cameras, you would be stuck with the Wise app, which is, again, not bad. It lets me know the notifications. It tells me everything I need. It's just if I wanted to be able to control those cameras, like turn them all on or turn them all off, I'm going to have to go through the app to do that. So, But for their equipment, it does work with Alexa. So like sensors and turning a light bulb on and off or a switch on and off. So
good deal.
All right.
Well, Brian, I made it through this hour. I made it through this hour with minimal coughing. I hope I muted every time I did. You
did. Yeah, you did pretty well. Yeah.
I'm now extremely congested and having struggle even talking.
Well, the voice is extra sexy tonight. Extra sexy.
I had a little extra layer on there for everybody listening tonight. Yeah. So Brian, how about take us home? Tell us how people can talk to us after this.
Yeah, you can send us an email at info@themesh.tv. And we would love to, what we love is we love hearing from people that say, check this device out, check this product out, because it gives us a reason to go and maybe get something new, or at least review something. You can also go to our website and brothers-in-tech.com, You can find previous episodes. You can also connect to us through there. There's a contact button. And we'd love to hear what new things you'd like us to talk about. We do have a couple of cool topics that we're excited about for the next couple of weeks, which is great. And but we are looking to try to build those topics up. So tell us what you want to hear. And the muting worked perfectly. Very nice.
Good. Mm-hmm. I'm good because that was rough. All right. That's it. We're going to wrap it up for tonight. Like Brian said, we do have a couple of cool topics planned for the next couple of weeks. So definitely stay tuned as we get into some interesting new tech. Next week, it'll be another few weeks before we do another Brothers in Tech suggestions episode, but plenty of time for everybody to send in their own suggestions of things we check out. And maybe that'll make it to our show when we do this again next month. But until then, we'll talk to you next week with another tech topic of discussion. Until then, thanks everybody and take care.
Bye-bye.
Collins woefully behind. Say it again, Brian. Say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.